Okay, all right, let's talk about the core of any high level based system like BAM engine, and that's automation. If we click on automation in this left side navigation, you can see what's in here is the workflows. That's what the automations are. Anytime you're going to do anything in high level that's an automatic something or other, any automation whatsoever, it's going to be in a workflow. So all the different decision matrices and all that kind of stuff, that's all in workflow someplace. Us old timers refer to the basis of this would be autoresponders. So most of the things you're going to do with workflows is going to be autoresponder sequences or email sequences that you can put people into and follow up with them automatically. But it goes so far beyond that there's all kinds of automations where you can filter your people into different categories and tag them differently and do different things with them. Survey people and have the answers from their surveys, filter them and tag them into different workflows and different automation sequences. And it's just the level of complexity you can get with this stuff is kind of crazy. But basically, all the decisions of any kind, all the automations are going to be in workflows. So it'd be best to get used to this stuff. For example, all of the campaigns that come with the BAM engine account, the book funnel, the consulting campaign, double tap, list rejuvenator, masterclass, on-demand webinar, they all come with their own workflows. So each one of them has a folder in here. So if we go to the, let's go to the masterclass follow-up. This is a very simple follow-up. And what it is this masterclass go finish is a sequence. And it's just going to tell them to go finish watching the masterclass, right? So the trigger of this is masterclass registration form submitted. So the very first bit of the masterclass, first page, is a registration page to watch the masterclass. So if they register for the masterclass, they get put into this workflow. That's the trigger. That's the top of every workflow is a trigger, and that's how they get into the workflow. All right. So this is how you determine who gets in. This one is they filled out a form, and we specify which form. So the workflow trigger is form submitted, masterclass registration form submitted. Form is masterclass registration. This is the title the name that you can put in there, and I type that in myself. But the trigger name is form submitted. There's lots of different types of triggers you can use to get somebody into a workflow. This one is form submitted. Form is masterclass registration. They get in here. First step is they wait 2 hours. So it waits to make sure that they had a chance to watch the masterclass, right? Then there's an email that goes out after 2 hours. I call it the spying on you email. It says, contact first name, I'm watching you, but not in a creepy way. All right. I learned this from Frank Kern. It says, hey, contact first name, my Fancy Pants website system tells me that you registered for the masterclass, but you didn't finish watching it. If my tech is wrong, my apologies. If not, here's a link to go back and finish watching the masterclass. Now, you, as the user, would have to put in a link to your masterclass presentation page here. And then you'll get a lot out of it, and I hope I have a special gift for you at the end, and then change this out to be your name. So that's the email that goes out. It waits a day. All right, time delay, wait a day. And then it sends another email. Hey, you didn't go watch the masterclass. So you can put as many of these in here as you want, right? But it's just to tell them to go back and watch the masterclass. Now, how does it know that they didn't finish watching? It doesn't. So there's a second workflow in here that says remove watchers from follow-up. All right. And so the trigger for that one is video tracking. All right. There's a video tracking trigger. Video duration is greater than 80%. And then at this point, you would have to go in and find the video file. If it's in order to do video tracking, you have to have the file hosted in high level in your media area. And then once you have it in there, then you come in here and add a second filter to this one called video is this one. So then you'd find your video name, and this is a demo account, so it doesn't have any videos in it. But you'd find your video name, put it right there, and then if someone watches the video to longer than 80% of the video, then it'll trigger them to be put into this workflow. And then all this workflow does is removes them from the masterclass Go Finish workflow. So that's how it knows if you watched or not, the whole thing. So if you watch the whole thing, you go into this workflow and get removed from the other. You can do all sorts of other things in here. You could have a whole bunch of emails triggered to go out after they finished watching the video. And then you could have another workflow that removes them from this one if they buy the product. And the trigger would be purchased the product, right? And then it would say, okay, we don't need to hammer them with the follow-ups that came for after watching the video to 80%, right? So you can cascade these things, and it just makes it so they move to the next step in your sales process, and automatically they get hit with emails, and you can do SMS messages in here and everything. You can do communications on SMS or on Facebook Messenger or Instagram DM. You can have them communicate through WhatsApp. If you get the optional WhatsApp integration, I think it's like $10 or $20 a month to have WhatsApp plugged into your account. But all those things go through workflows, all right? And all workflows are essentially a trigger and then a bunch of steps. So get used to looking at triggers and a bunch of steps. Now, you don't have to have a trigger to get someone into a workflow. You can have another workflow that says, add them to that workflow, and that would get them into the workflow without even going through a trigger. But get used to automating things in your follow-up, and that way, the less you're in the system, the more you're going to sell. Because if your follow-ups are all automated, then people are going to go through your sequences and your sales process without you doing anything. That's the whole point of having a marketing automation system. But that's how automations work. There's folders in here, and inside the folders are the actual workflows. So I'll go into more depth on the different ways you can use workflows to follow up with different types of campaigns in a different video. This is just kind of an overview of what automations are.